Guys, 3 years ago, I was watching myself in a fish restaurant. My hand was reaching for the most expensive fish on the menu, but I hadn't chosen that fish. Something inside me was calculating what message I'd be sending to the people at the table. That night, I spent 20% of my monthly disposable income on a fish I didn't even particularly like. On the drive home, that familiar feeling came. The satisfaction of what looked like a great evening, tangled up with the fear of opening my banking app in the morning. I did this for years. I spent, but not for myself, for how others saw me, and that was a mistake. I later learned that truly wealthy people, the ones who build 7-figure fortunes on 5-figure salaries over decades, refuse to do exactly what I was doing. And don't just refuse it, they push it away with the back of their hand. And not just this one thing. They refuse 10 things in total. 10 quiet, invisible no's that carry them into a completely different financial universe from the rest of us. The first one, guys, is they refuse to spend money to impress people they don't care about. Tom Corley studied 233 wealthy people over 5 years and found this. Wealthy people completely disconnect spending from social approval. If they're buying something, the only reason is that the thing works. 61% of millionaires drive Hondas, Toyotas, or Fords. Not because they can't afford the luxury version, because they ran the numbers and said no. I used to think this was deprivation. Now I understand it's freedom. Every purchase disconnected from status saves both money and mental energy. And that mindset is what gives them financial freedom. Second, they refuse to pay interest on depreciating assets. Wealthy people aren't entirely anti-debt. Most use mortgages because a home gains value. But they don't take on debt for cars, furniture, or electronics. Think about it. If you spread a 48,000 lira car over 84 months at 7% interest, you pay 58,000 in total. While the car's value has dropped to 19,000, you're paying nearly 60,000 for a 19,000 asset. Wealthy people refuse to participate in that math. We all know what credit card interest rates look like in Turkey, guys. Don't get into that game. Credit cards could be your downfall. Third, they don't allow their lifestyle to rise with their income. What do you do when you get a raise? Bigger apartment? Better car? Eating out more often? That's exactly what the culture expects. Wealthy people refuse. When income goes up, lifestyle stays the same. Savings rate goes up, money gets put to work in rotation. 31% of millionaires never earned a 6-figure salary. They got rich on moderate incomes because they kept the gap between earnings and spending wide and didn't let it close for years, for decades. Fourth, they refuse to make emotional decisions. The entire consumer economy is built on emotional triggers. Flash sales create urgency. Limited time offers create a sense of scarcity. Wealthy people have built systems against these. They wait 24 hours before any purchase over 50 liras. They go into stores with a list and leave with only what's on the list. They ask themselves, if this weren't on sale, would I buy it at full price? If the answer is no, that discount isn't saving money. It's creating an unplanned expense. According to 2024 data, the average consumer makes $282 worth of unplanned purchases per month. The design has been engineered to make you feel exactly that way. It's all part of the game. Notice it and walk away. Fifth, they refuse to ignore where their money goes. Every lira that leaves is valuable to them. The number of people without a budget is incredible, guys. And the average person underestimates their monthly subscription spending by more than 100%. Money disappears into an invisible fog. Wealthy people don't allow that. At least once a month, they look at all their spending and ask, does this align with what I actually value? People who track their spending save 15 to 20% more than those who don't. It's a 10-minute weekly habit. But the wealth it produces over a lifetime outpaces almost every other habit. Sixth, they refuse to carry a credit card balance. 75% of millionaires have never carried a credit card balance in their lives. Never. Not even once. When money got tight, they cut something else, delayed the purchase, used their savings, but they didn't go into debt. The compounding effect working against you at 22% interest impoverishes you far faster than an investment earning 8% return can enrich you. The gap between those two rates is the distance between financial freedom and financial prison. Seventh, they refuse to upgrade with every new phone model. It seems minor, but it reveals a major mental principle. Wealthy people see technology as a tool, not a status symbol. They replace it when the tool stops working, not when a new model comes out. The 10-year difference between someone who upgrades annually and someone who upgrades every 4 years is $5,000 to $9,000. That money could go into a Roth IRA, could go into investments. But the real cost is this. The annual upgrade cycle sends your brain the message that last year's is insufficient, and that feeling seeps into every category. Not good enough for the phone, not good enough for the car, not good enough for the apartment. Eighth, they refuse to spend time passively. Every idle moment feels to them like losing money. Corley's research found that 67% of wealthy people watch less than 1 hour of television per day. 88% read for at least 30 minutes every day, mostly personal development, business, and finance. The average American consumes over 4 hours of passive media per day. That's 1,450 hours per year. If 10% of that time, 3 hours per week, were directed toward financial education, within 2 to 3 years, you'd have a deeper understanding of money than 90% of the population. My own change started right there, guys. Instead of scrolling for an hour at night, I started reading about finance. Within 6 months, I raised my retirement contribution from 4% to 11%, opened a Roth IRA, calculated my net worth. Everything came from something I read during a former scrolling hour, and what I read was the turning point of my life. Ninth, they refuse to spend time with people who normalize financial dysfunction. The 5 people closest to you have a measurable effect on your spending habits, savings rate, and attitude toward money. If everyone around you sees financing a 45,000 lira car as normal, your brain takes that as its reference point. If nobody talks about investing, investing feels like a fringe activity. Wealthy people didn't grow up in wealthy circles from the start, but they actively sought out financially disciplined people, found them, and tried to live by their example, built mentoring relationships, found communities that shared their values. This migration can be uncomfortable. But math doesn't worry about comfort. 10th, they refuse to make major financial decisions without understanding the full cost. The average person looks at the monthly payment when buying a car. A wealthy person calculates total interest paid, opportunity cost, insurance premium differences between models, the depreciation curve, total cost of ownership over the expected holding period. Because they've learned that the sticker price of a financial decision is almost never the real price. The real price includes interest, opportunity cost, maintenance, insurance, depreciation, and the behavioral patterns the purchase triggers. They ask, what will this actually cost me over time, including everything I won't be able to do with this money instead? That question, applied consistently to every significant purchase, creates the difference between a person whose money compounds for them and a person whose money compounds for someone else's quarterly earnings report, and that keeps you ahead of the rest. Here's what connects all 10 of these refusals, guys. They're all expressions of a single principle. Wealthy people understand how money works over time. Every dollar appears to them simultaneously in 2 values, today's value and tomorrow's compounded value. A 7 lira coffee is 7 liras today, and roughly 69 liras in 30 years at 8% return. A $767 car payment is $767 today, roughly $7,600 in lost compounding per month of the loan. When you see money this way, every refusal on the list stops being a sacrifice and becomes a clear-cut choice. Oh, you're choosing 69 over 7? The math has already won. The average person doesn't see money this way because nobody taught them, and they didn't give up their passive time to research it. Financial literacy was never systematically taught. How compound interest works, the difference between an asset and a liability, opportunity cost. These aren't advanced concepts. They're the fundamental rules of a game everyone is already playing. Wealthy people learned these rules, often from a parent, a mentor, a single book, a single conversation that changed their entire worldview. That understanding restructured every habit, every refusal, every dollar. This is exactly the difference between financial information and financial literacy, guys. Information was knowing that compound interest exists and recognizing it. Literacy is understanding it so deeply that paying 22% interest to a credit card company makes you physically uncomfortable because you feel the math. That understanding is available to you right now. It's not locked behind a paywall or a degree program. Compound interest, opportunity cost, the income-spending gap, the true cost of debt, the mathematics of time. All of these can be learned in an afternoon and applied for the rest of your life. Those who learned in them join the 5%. Those who don't keep doing the 10 things on this list and wonder why the number in their account never seems to grow. See it, refuse, compound the difference. Ordinary people build extraordinary wealth this way, not through one brilliant move, but through 10 quiet no's repeated every month. You start too, and see the difference, my friend.